Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger. My friends, we have some pretty exciting news for Melty Blood Type Lumina because yes, there is a balance patch coming, although to be fair, it is mostly bug fixes, but we'll go over everything that is there. And there is an announcement that there will be DLC characters coming for the game. That was very much not a given, considering how French bred the creators of this game kind of do their work. So the fact that there is DLC coming, that is truly fantastic. That means you don't gotta wait a year or 2 years to buy the next edition of the game that has a different subtitle on it. So to speak on the DLC first here, as put out on the official Twitter, DLC content with new playable characters, stories, and battle stages are coming this winter. Updates to balance battles and other bug fixes are also planned. And as you can see here, there's a little bit of a roadmap, which is always very welcome. They don't spill the beans on the characters just yet, I guess, but at least having a time frame is good. So the first two characters will be coming sometime this winter, which is a little nebulous, because this winter would also be 2022. And characters 3 and 4 will be coming in 2022 in spring. Each character comes with, obviously enough, the character itself, a story mode for the character, and a new stage. New stages don't happen all that much in modern fighters, honestly. So having 4 new stages along with the characters, hey, thumbs up from me. So the real question is, who is it gonna be? So with Saber being in the game, the door's open to the greater Fate universe. It doesn't just have to be Tsukihime, right? But that said, with Tsukihime in mind, there is, some people missing from the game. Let's put it that way, right? Like Scion Eltnum, who is the main character of the old Melty Blood games, yet kind of missing in action here. So she has a decent chance to appear. One that is definitely very popular and definitely would probably sell a lot of DLC is Neco Arc. So Arcueid here, popular main character effectively, and there's a character called Neco Arc who is this person, but a deformed, weird comedy cat person. And people really, really like Neco Arc. So that is another possibility. And Neco Arc is also in the game as well, the previous Melty Blood. So returning character makes sense to me. However, realistically, just about anyone's possible because we have all the original Tsukihime characters that have not made it back into the game yet. And once again, with Fate being open, who knows? Gilgamesh, Iskander, whoever they want to just milk people for money, because the Fate series is pretty good for milking people for money, right? If you ever heard of Fate Go. So man, who knows? There's just a lot of possibilities. And to speak on the patch notes, so I'll put a link in the video description if you want to check the patch notes yourself. A lot of the patch notes, they're bug fixes, and very well good, because there's definitely more than a couple bugs in the game, right? So that's very good. But yes, there is indeed balance changes, some minor, some more significant. So let's go over it. One of the things off the bat here is they actually have the aim of their adjustments, which is very nice, so you can see their intentions. So adjusting areas where the character's intended strong points were insufficient, or their weak points were considered too weak. So hey, that's kind of what every balance patch strives to be, I suppose. So that's perfect. So the first of our characters to receive proper balance changes is Ciel. And first up, her Jump A. That's her jumping elbow attack here. The hitbox for continuous hit detection has been expanded downwards, meaning basically it'll just be able to hit below her a little bit easier than it currently does. Her moon skills have been changed pretty much across the board here. So down moon skill, that's this guy right here. The opponents are knocked higher in the air when hit. The back moon skill, reduced landing recovery, so you will recover faster than you currently do. So perhaps making it better as a block string or just overall tool in neutral. The aerial version of the back moon skill, this is more projectiles. You can now jump cancel the recovery. So just giving you more options because you definitely cannot in its current state. So basically just some quality of life changes, making her life a little bit easier across the board. Now for Hisui, you could call this a bug fix, you could call it a nerf. But well-deserved Rest EX, aka the big old cake. So this is now being limited to 2 on-screen at a time. Because before, well, you could just go crazy, right? Like you could put as many as you wanted. I'm just assuming that's for like game stability, because the game could freak out a little bit if there's too many on screen. So only 2 at a time now will be allowed. For Kohaku, so her magical amber missile, that's the move where she turns into a witch. So both doing the move raw as it stands and also tossing out the projectiles, you will have reduced landing recovery, meaning you'll gain control of your character faster than you did before, just making the move a little bit more useful. And in situations where you were neutral on block, because there was a lot of situations where you'd be exactly neutral, I guess this means you'll now be plus on block when you land. So hey, that's pretty decent. Also, her moon skill version of this move here, also buffed. So reduce landing recovery again, so you'll recover faster, and increase the speed for startup and movement, so everything just kind of happens faster, and expanded the hitbox. So everything about this move is just strictly better. So not wild changes or anything, but it's making one of her core moves, and the move that's unique to her, this is like the one move the duo can't do, right? So the move unique to her is better. So the Maid Duo, there's technically a buff, but actually a nerf. So Sisterly Bond, Storm Cloud. That's what Kohaku up in the lead here. Of course, go back C. This is where Hisui kind of bashes your head in with the table. The hitbox on that has been improved. Expanded hit detection specifically. However, basically they're changing the move so the guaranteed unblockable setup no longer works. Specifically, they say they're aiming at their adjustments here. So they're making it so it no longer loops when used with unavoidable guards. So the guaranteed low overhead hitting on the exact same frame, apparently that's going away. And that was a little ridiculous, I suppose, so fair enough. Okay, so Noel, technically this isn't a balance change, but I'm still including it because her voice. So, and now have lowered her voice, and she'll scream out less often than she currently does. Because Noel is a very loud character, and I guess, you know, it's sort of become a meme at this point, right? So they're toning down the voice. Vlov getting some buffs. So first up here, down forward C, that's the launcher, has an expanded hitbox upwards. So it's just strictly better. It hits up higher than it currently does. And speaking of just better, his air dash C specifically says, reduce the delay necessary to be able to perform jump C after an aerial dash. So it looks like he'll just be able to overhead you faster than he currently does. Jump C is a pretty strong jumping button. So it doesn't state specifically how much faster it is, but even if it's only a couple frames faster, that means it's just that much more likely to open you up. So very strong. Red Arcueid also got some buffs. So first up here, her moon skill, her down forward BC one, the teleport, it's just reduced recovery. So she'll basically end the teleport quicker than she currently does and be able to move faster. And that kind of applies across the board. So Dragon Punch Motion A teleport, also reduced recovery with faster startup. And the B version, the one that switches sides here, also faster startup and reduced recovery. So just better across the board, all of our little teleport options. Also, when it comes to the EX version of the move, reduced recovery as well. So her mobility game basically is just better than it was before. Now Saber. Saber is the winner, I guess you could say that. She definitely got the most amount of changes that are positive. First up here, just her regular air dash. It says reduce the delay necessary to be able to perform jump C. So just like Vlov, she can now do jump heavy faster out of an air dash than she could before. That is strictly a big buff. That's great. Stand B has reduced recovery, so you'll recover quicker out of the move, making it more valuable as a poke. Crouching B is now a low. So currently in the build of the game now before the patch, it's just a mid. You can block it standing. Now you will have to block this move as a low. Jump A, expand the hitbox downwards, because sometimes you can see like the motion sort of goes through people's heads. So that should no longer happen, well, as much anyways. Jump B, expanded the hitbox, so just a bigger hitbox across the board. Of course, circle back B, that has reduced recovery, although it doesn't state how much. And finally, her arc drive, so cortical back BC, has now been given greater priority over her moon drive, so you don't accidentally get the moon drive instead. So they're saying basically, as far as their aim of their adjustments in the patch notes, the general performance of Saber's neutral game has been reviewed. made improvements to mid-range efficiency, such as strengthening hitboxes and reducing recovery, and with these changes, well, I think they've done exactly that. Besides the character changes I mentioned, once again, there's a lot of bug fixes. So once again, the patch notes in the video description, if you want to check it out, there's been a particular bug that's been, well, bugging you. It's more than likely been fixed because there's a lot of bug fixes. So it's not a massive balance patch. Definitely got to give the game time to breathe a bit. Most of the changes are very fair. Just it's all buffs except for getting rid of the unblockable setup for the Maid Duo, which sure, whatever. Like, I don't think anyone's going to really complain about that. Other than that, it's just buffs for the rest of the cast who got the buffs, and for everyone else who didn't, well, they're in good spots already, and grander changes will come in the future, I am sure. But otherwise, that's the patch notes. We got DLC coming down the road, hopefully at least one this year, and going through 2022 as well. The fact that there's DLC, once again, I said it before, but it was not a given. But this game, it was not a given at all. So I'm very happy this game is getting DLC and hopefully getting a lot more quality of life improvements just across the game's lifespan. That all said, my friends, that's it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Melty Blood.